Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. My name is Wood. Please consider becoming a subscriber to the channel. And if you like the way that any of the information is being broken down, presented, discussed, reviewed, recapped, previewed, hit the like button. Feel free to chime in with, on any of the subjects and let me know how you're seeing it. What's your angle? What's your theory? Is it a detail that I missed that's bugging you? What's the next show that you're on to? And in this particular show with Your Honor, Part 9, we only have an hour left, 50 to 55 minutes. So what's your big, what do you see being the big payoff in watching this show? Quick housekeeping note. If you like what I'm doing over here, it'd help if you shared it, shared any of the content to your circle who might listen to some of the music I'm talking about, watching any of the programs that I'm recapping, or if they dig any of the sports that I'm discussing, the sports topics. Shout out to Tom Brady, five-time Super Bowl MVP, 7-time Super Bowl champion and whatnot. But also, check me out if you want to hear me get into other things away from sports and entertainment primarily. Feel free to check me out at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, as well as Spotify with my It's Always Personal podcast. It's more portable. You don't have to have your screen open, to watch the YouTube and whatnot. Worry about Wi-Fi. It's a lot of different, it's a lot more ease and greater utility in the podcast space. So let's get to part 9. A couple major giveaways or slip-ups or reveals, character to character in this episode. One was Franny letting Charlie know that she knows about the original sin in Rocco being killed by Adam. The other one is and now I cannot remember. I wrote it down here somewhere. Franny. Oh, and then Costello gives up Adam, thinking she's helping. If you F with him, you F with me. She tells Jimmy and Frankie. And he's like, I'm sorry, excuse me, who are you talking about? She says the judge and Adam. And he Adam is like, why do I keep hearing this? So then when he goes into the courtroom, he starts looking on his daughter's Instagram, and we have the whole shooting match. So what I'm going to talk about, that's the two big giveaways. It's Costello giving up young Adam and Franny letting it be known to Charlie what he actually got entangled in when he volunteered to help his friend several episodes ago. So the other thing here, the other major points is Joey Maldini flips on the House Baxter. He spent 3 months on the run. I just mentioned in the last video, like the timeline here is bugging me. A murder case with a death penalty pending, that doesn't get going and wrapped up in 2 or 3 weeks. It's a long, lengthy process. Even as solid as the case is, Judge Desiato inceptions Joey with the water and the W.H. Auden poem about many have died, thousands have died without love. Not one has lived without water. Big move by Eugene with stepping up with his ideas to build the bank. Desire is pretty bad if a newcomer who happens to be... How old is Eugene? Is he 13? Is he 14? And how valuable is giving away money to wait for a church to raise that money to pay you back? I don't know if I follow the thinking in that, But all in all, Desire is pretty lame as a street. They definitely aren't Barksdale's. It's not Marlow's team. I'm sorry, from the Wire. Evidenced by the fact that Joey was on the run for 3 months, and they just been sitting around shooting pool and sitting just aimless. So then we also have the triangle between Adam telling information to Charlie going and acting on that and confronting Franny, and then that's when the big reveal came about Adam and Rocco and what that connection was. Lee gets some key info on Kofi's GED. She found out that he failed it. He was a pretty smart kid, so he must not have really cared. He's a pretty bright guy, street smart, and quick-witted. But the timestamp that's on there, she quickly puts 2 and 2 together and says, well, he couldn't possibly have committed the the vehicular homicide with Rocco. And then Costello works new detail about Robin's death. I forget how she got that phone. How she got the camera, but now she's putting, I guess Adam maybe gave it to her. I don't know. But she sees this picture and is starting to look into Desire closer, and now they sully this dead woman's name. Possible extramarital affair. And then at the end of this, we get Jimmy. It finally all comes to a head that he wants to meet Adam right now. And that also speaks to my issue with this episode and what's been going on is the time of day and everything. I don't know what 2 teenagers go link up at a cafe before it's time to go to school. Or is not, and they are in school, even though it's in the middle of this pandemic, but they've been in school because we've seen them in the classrooms and whatnot. But who the hell is up early enough in the morning? We saw him getting some loving back in the pilot episode before school, but now they're out getting dressed. They're enjoying coffee and going through this photo album or this book of photographs when Franny comes and pulls up on Adam and his new babe. But let's go back. Joey Maldini flips on House Baxter. He jumps out of this window as the Baxter people have located him, come to get him where he's been squatting. Why didn't he just take the fentanyl, the dope, the drugs to Desire, to at least get them off his back? But I guess he kept the drugs to make money. But is he smart enough to really sell this stuff? And then if you had 150,000 or 200, that's another discrepancy. She said it was 200 at one time, then another time it was 150. So I don't know. But I hate when they mess up the street angle and the details of that. It's a weakness for me. But he was on the run for three months, and he's out of moves, so he turns himself in after evading the Baxters. Why haven't we seen more of what the hell the Baxter organization does? We know Jimmy Baxter is comfortable with killing and murder, but what do you do? And that's the limitations of a limited series. Couldn't really waste time digging into any of that, and that's kind of why my interest in the show kind of waned a little bit. That the scope is what it is. Anyway, he gets in there and the judge has to make a move because this is unexpected. What happened to the deadline that he was given? I guess he got an extension because of Joey's him dropping in on things, and he reassures him that, look, I'm gonna put some moves on this, and I'm gonna deliver him to you. Every so often, when he's boxed in, he goes and gets defiant with the guy that can end his life like that, and he tells him, that's your department. After Baxter just told him, flipping his case around however it needs to be done, that's your department. And just like Walter White, he doesn't respond well to being dictated to and being under the thumb, of this other guy. So he tells him, I'm gonna deliver him. I'll keep Joey out of the OPP, and I'll have him over here. Do whatever you need to do to overnight to silence him permanently. The only thing he abandons that plan. I don't know what the hell he did with chopping the banana in half. What are all these little things that don't amount to anything? I guess maybe he just got some potassium in him after his run or whatever. But he takes he brings Joey back in the back and says, I need to speak with him one-on-one. And like I said, he does this mind thing on him with his lies and manipulation that he's been doing the whole way. And he says, he gives him his shoes, washes his feet, from the Bible. But when I get hit with it, when I'm in the midst of a bout of anxiety, I drink some water. So when you go in here and tell these people that you don't like, when you start talking about the things that this powerful group of people don't like, drink some water, make you feel better, help you get through this, ending your life and turning on people who raised you, and who were trying to kill you at the beginning of the show. But he tells them, I got all the information. I can tell you, I give you Kofi, the situation with the head split open like a watermelon, and then I can give you the other stuff that none of us have been privy to the entire show. Already went through the timing, like the meeting at the cafe with Franny, Fia, and Adam. That's a downgrade to me. Huge downgrade. No disrespect to the young actress that plays Fia. I was wondering what Fia, I didn't even put two and two together that it's short for Sophia. We have Fiona, who is the district attorney or the prosecutor. And then we have Franny. So I'm a little mixed up on my name starting with F. But Miss Latimer is hotter than Fia. Plus, she's older, and she has the means to go to New York with you. So, Adam has been a dead weight in this series, in my opinion. Man, he's really undermined everything that his father's been trying to do, and to sit here now with this silly ass relationship with the girl whose brother you killed and inhumanely, allowed to die at that intersection. By the way, that intersection, have any vehicles went through that intersection besides the Volvo and the motorcycle, Rocco and Adam? And then we saw the black Suburban that was a thing for an episode, and we've never seen any more about it. But big downgrade, in my opinion, going from Franny to Fia. She tried to do some play on the words about choices that we make and all that type of stuff. And of course, Fia is oblivious to what's really being said and the nature of their relationship. But this compels Adam to go have a talk with his godfather and Charlie, which compels Charlie to go seek out Miss Latimer and tell her to step off. I thought that was a bit of a weird exchange. Like, he was talking to this teacher, like, really greasy, really grimy, and she's just a teacher. Like, it wouldn't have been that hard to tell her to push off, to push it along, but he does his thing. But in the midst of rattling her a bit, she comes out and fights counterpunches or fights back with, well, it's going to be difficult. It's difficult for a 17-year-old kid to know that you allow somebody to die in the middle of the street, blah, blah, blah. And then Charlie is like, so that's what value, another loose end created. What value does it, what can he do with that bit of information? Or does he feel that he has to go eliminate somebody or have somebody eliminated? Or what do they call it? Damage control. I don't know. So with Eugene, my theory about Eugene taking out Jimmy Baxter isn't looking so hot. I wouldn't have put any money on it anyway. But he steps forward and says, I'm good with these. I'm good with money. I'm good with numbers, and I'm ambitious. Let me. Have you ever considered working with the churches around here to figure out a way to build your bank and cleaning your money? And of course, Big Mo is, this kid is worth all the other lames, and the goons that she has standing around who did nothing in the way of bringing this outstanding $150,000 or $200,000, liability. Nobody's done anything to correct that. But she listens to Eugene and seems like he's going to get a promotion, which ends up with another reveal. The third reveal is that later that night when they're drinking some syrup or whatever the hell, lean, whatever you call it, Lil Mo and celebrating young man proposing financial moves and whatnot. He says, he lets it be known. He says the name Rudy. Then Lee and Eugene meet up so she can tell him about what she's figured out, and to let him know that maybe he's being played by the people who have taken him under their wing. And he says Rudy to her. So she goes back to her old job and digs in the computer system, looking into Little Mo, who's his real name is Trey Morrow. And she puts two and two together that Rudy Cunningham, Charlie's right-hand man on the police force, the lieutenant, who would be his commissioner or chief of police or something if Charlie was to win the election, which he hasn't done much campaigning lately. But again, limited series. And so then the other thing out here is that so that's another threat that's a loose end that needs to be opened up, because now Lee has information to clear. Not only did she know that Carlo killed Kofi, now she knows that Kofi took the fall for somebody else when he didn't even do it. And now she knows a police officer was probably involved in relaying some information that ties all this stuff together. So the judges, I don't know why the judge didn't get on an airplane a couple episodes ago, but of course we had to have the show. Costello gets to looking at these pictures and figures out, these guys in these photos are all in the Desire gang. And but there's one individual that she can't ID. So it's just very weird to me now that we know she was kid. We know that Robin, Michael, the judge's dead wife or deceased wife, we know that she was in the hood, but she was in the hood like that. So we got a lot to figure out here. And then it closes out at the end that Fia has told, in this 3 months time that we weren't aware had elapsed, her and Adam love each other strongly, or with all of Fia's heart. And so now Jimmy is aware, I need more I might need more leverage. So let me meet your boyfriend because I might need to lean on him. So the only question now is, when does he figure out that Adam was behind the wheel and not Michael? So here it is, another 20-minute episode recap. Let me know what you think about the finale. I already ran out there with my one theory that's not looking so hot. But I would imagine 25, 30 minutes into it, this probably wraps up. And then we'll get 20 minutes of like how they move forward now that he did all of this stuff and a lot of it starts to come to light. So again, my name is Wood. Hit that like button, share the video, leave a comment. And like I always say, man, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Have a great night.